Hi there, I'm Megan, and I just thought I'd drop into your feed if you're scrolling along and just tell you a little bit about my USA tour coming up next year. It's next April, and it will be the third time I've hosted this, what I call the USA music tour. And so but I've broken it into three little tours. So you can either do, excuse me for looking at my notes here, a 13 or 16 night tour. So it's set down for April from the 7th to the 25th, and it starts with an optional 3 nights in Washington, D.C. So it's right after Easter. So the aim for me there is to hopefully see the cherry blossoms. So of course, that's always fraught with what's the weather doing. And it was very, very cold this year when I was there, and we were a bit early. We were sort of at the end of March, and we were too early. So we're now going about 10 days later-ish, and I think we have a good chance. So I've chosen a hotel, a Sofitel, right near the White House. Great location for walking around that whole area, the monuments. There's some good restaurants, and then I've got a few wonderful things planned, and things to do there for 3 days. So if you haven't been to DC, it really is such a beautiful city. And I lived there just outside of DC for a year as an exchange student, so I've been plenty of times. I know it well, and I'd love to take you to some of my favorite museums and just some of the most beautiful monuments and buildings and things like that. And don't even worry about who the president is, because you won't even have any involvement with that whole shebang. So then what we do is we leave Washington and we fly to New Orleans, where the tour actually starts. So that will be, we've got 4 nights in New Orleans, staying in the French Quarter. That'll be my 10th visit to New Orleans. We were there this year for Mardi Gras, and I was actually on the float, throwing the beads and craziness. So much fun. So in my 10 visits, I've really honed into which bars I love for live music, where there'll be lots of free time, because it really is such great streets to explore for shopping, for eating. We'll do a lunch cruise or maybe a dinner, we haven't decided which, on the Mississippi on one of those paddle steamers. And so we've got some really good fun things planned. We might even go to the theatre one night. I know, who knew, the theatre. We'll do a whole hop on, hop off, so you can explore into the Garden District and out further into Tremé and the Marigny areas outside of the French Quarter, and kind of get your bearings, and then you're free to explore as well. We're around Jackson Square, where there's always street musicians that would be world class if you saw them anywhere else in the world. They're just really great fun and really amazing. Then we go out to Homer's House, which is a plantation. It's an old sugar plantation, and the owner there has restored it, no expense spared, and he's built villas for accommodation, like 4-poster beds, your own en suites and everything on the property. He's landscaped it beautifully. So we're going to drive out there. It's probably about an hour and a half's drive from New Orleans, and on the way, we'll go to another plantation called the Whitney Plantation. And that really tells the slavery story, which you don't get so much at Homer's House. You get a little bit of it because he has built a museum, but Whitney will be a great balance to that. So that's going to happen on the way. Then we'll go to Homer's House. We'll have a beautiful meal in the carriage house that he found the plans for, the current owner, that were about 100 years old, and he built it and became a restaurant there. It's just stunning, so you'll enjoy that. And then from there, we will road trip up to Memphis. So that's a long day. There's no direct flights from New Orleans to Memphis. It's about a 6-hour drive. But we'll tootle along, and we'll stop for snacks, and you'll just get to see some of the American countryside, and we'll sort of follow the river north up to Memphis, where we'll stay for 3 nights at the Peabody Hotel. So it'll be my 4th stay at the Peabody, and I just love it. It's so easy, accessible to Beale Street, which is also where you'll find your live music there. So we've had the jazz in New Orleans. Now we're going to get the sort of rock and roll and, well, actually all styles, but of course, Graceland. So we'll be going out there for as long as people want to go. I think this time we'll just let people Uber themselves back, because some people were really, really keen to stay longer last time, and we were like, oh, come on, get in the car, and they were like, oh no, we're gutted, we only came for Graceland. So you can stay as long as you like at Graceland, and there is plenty to see and do there, because they've built and they're continuing to build new sort of exhibits and museums, and they've got Elvis's costumes and records and movies playing, and his car collection and his plane collection, and so that's all there. Then, and of course you've got in Memphis, you've got the Civil Rights Museum, which is set in the Lorraine Motel where Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. So that tells a story right back to the slavery ships coming out from Africa through to Rosa Parks and the whole movement that led up to the assassination of Martin Luther King. We'll have barbecue, you can have free time to go and explore like the Stax Museum, Sun City. There might even be a game on. One time we were there, we went and watched the Memphis Grizzlies play basketball. So that's all within walking distance as well of the Peabody Hotel. Then we will, after our 3 nights there, we'll travel to Nashville. That's about a 3-hour drive for 4 nighs. And we will stay near Broadway, so it's easy walking distance down to Honky Tonk Row. It'll be my 4th visit to New Orleans, to Nashville. So there's some good bars. In fact, bars are opening all the time there. Post Malone just opened one, so we need to go and check that out. Last time I went a couple of times to Garth Brooks's bar, Friends in Low Places. I loved it, on the rooftop. It was less rocky, loudy, and because they can be pretty loud, but they can also be just whatever. It's just musicians are playing constantly all day and all night, and you just walk along and decide which one sounds good to you, and in we go. We'll go to the Grand Ole Opry one night, and I've also arranged backstage passes. So we'll get a tour around the whole backstage of this iconic theatre, which is still actually broadcasts a live radio show during the concert. So we'll be part of all of that as well at the Opry. Then the tour actually ends there, the official tour. But I've also added an optional 3 nights in Dollywood. So those of you who follow my blog or listen to me on News Talk ZB will know that I went to Dollywood this year, and it's down in Pigeon Forge. It's about, I think it's about an hour and a half's drive out of Nashville, and it's a theme park. Well, it's 2 theme parks. It's she's got about 60 rides, some of the top 10 rides in the US. So some of them are real scary, some of them are funsy, kidsy, some of them are just trains, and then you've got her exhibits as well, her costumes and her story, and she tells videos. It was an old theme park before she sort of gave her name to it, and so it's got sort of oldie worldy charm, little shops and things all through it. And then next door there's a water park, so if it's boiling hot, probably won't be in April, you can go there as well. We can have swims and things like that. We'll stay right there at Dollywood in one of the resorts. You're in the Smoky Mountains. It's probably about an hour's drive from there to go right into the mountains area. There's also a really cute little town called Sevierville, which we discovered when I was there on our last day, and we had dinner there. So I've actually organised us to have dinner there on our last night of the tour, and it's voted, I think, the top restaurant in Tennessee, this one that we're going to go to. So that was really something. So all up, it's either a 13-night or a 16-night tour. You choose. And at the moment I have, I think, 3 spots left, maybe 4. So jump on my blog, bloggeratlarge.com, and have a look at the tour, and then get in touch with me or drop me a message after this video, and I can get hold of you and grab a spot if this is on your bucket list. I don't think I'll be doing this tour again. Done it 3 times, and there's other places to see in the world. So if a music tour in the US sounds like you, don't hesitate. Come and join me. And I'm going to be hosting it with my husband, Mark. So it's not a girls' trip. It's a couples trip, although girls are welcome just on their own as well, because I'll be there and lots of other girls are coming. And we've already got about 3 couples coming. So don't worry, blokes, if you feel like you'll be the only man, you won't be. And it's going to be fun. So I'd love to hear from you, and I hope you can join me. See you later. Bye-bye.